Well, I'm off to move a tiny home in the rain. It might not be raining up here, but Lord knows we've needed this rain. Grass is about dead. Well, I've only had to mow about twice in the last month, so got some extra Milwaukee batteries. The old 7.3. Gonna head up to the woods and see if we can't get this thing moved out of there. I think it only goes about 17 miles. I was up there last Friday maybe, and no, was it last Friday? No, last Friday we were up at the lake. Last Monday? I don't know. One day last week, met the guy, went over some things, and we got a game plan, so we're gonna head up there now, see if we can't get this thing moved out. Well, getting her pulled out. Way back in the woods back there. Old 7.3 don't care one bit. She could pull a house down, isn't that what they say? So, we're pumping up one of the tires just a little more. And everything works, all lights, brakes, so we're gonna try to get her down the road. It's about 18 miles or so. Well, I didn't record as much as I wanted to getting this thing in here, because we are on a little goat trail, but I got it dropped off. We made it. There was only 2 spots. I just came over one where it's a little bit of a hill and then a rock sticking out of the ground. So I had to make sure I didn't drag or rip anything off the bottom of the tiny home coming up over that. And then this turn that we're gonna come up to right here, I'll show you. You see that power pole? That's on the opposite side, so the tail swing is what would have scared me. See, I came out, see where all these plants are laid down over here? I came out through there. She's got these signs here that she didn't want. It was real adamant about not hitting. This is like a whole community back here, I guess. It's 32 acres, couple living sites and all kinds of stuff, so. I mean, they've got gardens, they've got the earth, they've got rocks that are stacked. You can imagine what kind of place it is.
That'd be a redneck.
Well, I guess you could say we're working overtime. Customer wanted us to pull the water tank out of here in his deck, so I'm not complaining about the money, that's for sure. I got all kinds of help. It's been super nice. We just got to get over there and get it dropped off. I'll be going home for the night. On the road again. Man, I have not pulled this trailer in quite a long time. I've got the big enclosed behind me. We're empty right now. We are headed to Salisbury, Maryland to load 2 cars, and I've got another driver coming with another 2 car that's going to load 2 more cars. He'll be there a little later than I am, and taking 4 cars for this one gentleman down to Florida. So I think he's moving down to Florida, and he's got a pretty nice collection of cars. He's got an Evo 8 which is a show car. He's got an Evo 9 which is a race car. He's got a GTR, which is a race car, and then he's got like a Tacoma. So I think I'm gonna take probably one of the Evos in the Tacoma or the GTR in the Tacoma. The guy who's helping me out, his trailer is just a little bit shorter than mine, so I'm gonna make sure he can fit both of his with no problem. So I might just leave him the 2 Evos. But yeah, I haven't pulled this enclosed in a while, and it's a little bit of a different trip because I'm leaving on a Wednesday instead of like usually I plan these trips to leave on Monday, but trying to trying to fit his schedule, which it's okay. I probably won't be back till Saturday, which, oh well. It's been a long weekend, the first couple days of the week with the kids, and that's part of what I've been trying to do is just dedicate more time to the family. Sometimes I get so caught up in work that I not that I'm a bad father, I just feel like I'm not doing
in 1,000 feet
everything I
use the left 3 lanes
to spend time with the kids, be present with the kids, and help my wife. So really started to cut back on the phone, the work stuff when I'm at home. Like, you know, yesterday I had a guy call me like 3 or 4 times, and there's nothing we need to talk about. It's about some work coming up. It's like, just shoot me a text, like, and I'll respond. Call me 3 or 4 times, like, I'm trying to get dinner ready, or I'm trying to get the, you know, kids in the tub, or whatever it may be. You know, stuff to help out my wife that she does on a daily basis that when I'm home I should be doing or helping with. And it's like, before I would, you know, step out and take the call, and then, you know, 10-15 minutes goes by, all the work's done, and then I walk back in, and that's just not fair. So I've really been trying to work on that and not letting this business run my life. It has provided quite a bit of stuff for me and my family. It has been a blessing, but I can't be not being present over a $600 haul. Now, if it was a $6,000 haul and I was like, hey, can I take this, my wife would completely understand. But it's like, you gotta pick your battles sometimes. You can't let a business run your life, especially when you're at home. You know, when I'm on the road, I'll answer whatever call, whatever text, whatever you want. You want to talk on the phone for an hour? That's fine. I'm just driving. And when I'm at home, it's a completely different story. So we're headed down now. We're gonna hop off 695, hop on 97, run out 50 over the Bay Bridge, and get into Salisbury, Maryland. And I guess we'll be going straight south and going through, what is it, like the Chesapeake Bay Tunnel or something? I don't know. I don't go that way very often, but I'll take you along for the ride. Well, just like that, we've made it to the one of the wonders of the world, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. There's a bunch of cargo ships out there. Off to our right. So always traffic here. This bridge gets pretty dangerous. People have driven off this bridge. People have jumped off this bridge, sadly. There's a cargo ship actually getting ready to come under the bridge as we're going over it. So hopefully this isn't like the Key Bridge. That's a little nerve-wracking. I don't know if you'll be able to see down to our left here, this boat that's getting ready to come under, literally as we're going right over top of it. Just a big barge. I'm not sure what it's got on it. So while I'm driving here, you guys remember how I deadheaded like 700 miles home the other night? Down there messing around with that army truck or that military vehicle. Come to find out that International MXT, it was an old Red Bull truck. Red Bull used those to like pull around some of their boats and stuff to shows or events or whatever. Anyways, so let me tell you how I got a little screwed on that deal, because so I had about 8 hours in it, about 5 hours of driving. So you figure I had 350 miles in it, pulling my big trailer, plus 700 home, because that fell through, or whatever you want to call it. That's not the point of the story. So the guy was like, well, what do you think is fair for payment? It's like, honestly, I got 8 hours in it. I got 350 miles. Now I gotta just beat feet home because I have to be home tomorrow morning. You know, I don't think 500 bucks is unfair. So he didn't really say anything. And he was like, all right. He said something like, is Zelle fine? I said, yeah, Zelle's fine. Just, he's like, all right, let me move some things around and I'll Zelle you. So that night I didn't hear anything from him. And it got to be like 11 o'clock. And I had left that place at about 11 a.m. So 12 hours has gone by. And then I sent him a text. It was getting late. I was it just popped into my mind when I was getting fuel. I was like, I'm going to shoot him a text, like, just don't forget about me. Well, the next day, then I don't bother him. He said he was going out of the country, which is why we were trying to rush this, because he wanted it before he left the country. He had some family stuff over. I'm thinking, from his name, I'm thinking like South America or something. I don't know. Mexico, South America. So he's like, I'm leaving the country. Can we try to get it up here by Friday? So that's why, you know, I was going to get it up there for Thursday, and then I was going to go pick up my side-by-side. So, I don't hear anything from him that day. The next night, in the middle of the night, like midnight, he sends me $250. It's like, okay, well, is any more coming? Were you just trying to, you know, send half, send the rest later? And haven't heard from him. So I haven't heard of him once it moved, and honestly, I'm really interested in moving it anyways. Now after that, and if I were to move it, again, I would get paid what I originally quoted him, plus an extra $250 that he still owes me for the last time. But for someone to go out of their way, I mean, we've been talking about this for weeks. You know, I spent, you know, time researching, trying to figure out, giving him some ideas, telling him about Mannheim. You know, they're not going to be able to move this. They're going to say that they're going to move it, but the lady that answers the phone doesn't realize what it is, how heavy it is. They don't have anything to move it. And they insisted that it would be moved to a place where I could load it onto the trailer. As you guys saw, it wasn't. So, I mean, honestly, a big waste of time. $250 maybe covers my fuel. Probably not even. So at the end of the day, I lost money. You know, I was just happy enough to cover my expenses and my time and just calling it, just, you know, leaving it at that. But it's like, man, to just not even send me a text or even be like, or even say anything as far as like, you know, I think 500 is too much. You know, let's have a conversation about it. Just to send me the money and then not, and then ghost me, send me half the money and then ghost me, it's kind of like, whatever. So he can sit there for all that I care. And he wanted it really bad because he thought he was going to make some money on it, but I don't know. But I'm not. Now, if it was like a business or something, I would be like, you know, more adamant about going after him and getting the rest of my money. But, you know, that's just, I say it's just karma for somebody that, you know, a situation or another situation, somebody came up where you really do need me, where you really do need a favor from me, and I'm not the person you're going to get a favor from again. You guys remember me talking the other day about different types of customers? It goes tiny home, like, well, I talked earlier in this video about me getting a little screwed, and then had those tiny home customers the other day that were so awesome. Let me tell you about this customer I'm hauling for right now. We'll let Mr. Officer go by us first. So this guy that I'm hauling for now, probably one of the nicest guys that I have ever met. He was referred to me by one of my lifelong friends, and wanted to move. Did I tell this story already? I don't know. Wanted to move 5 cars down to Florida. He's got a couple He's got the GTR, he's got 2 Evos. I think he had another Evo, which he sold, and then he's got his Tacoma. Anyways, gave him a price a couple months ago, 2 months ago maybe, and he was like, cool, sounds great. Let me give you a deposit. I was like, you know, you were referred to me by my one of my lifelong friends. He knows you. His word's good enough. I'm not worried about it. He goes, no, I insist. Let me give you a deposit. He's like, let me give you $1,000. So he sent me $1,000 deposit for this trip. Peace of mind for him. Wanted to lock it in. I get it. And so it went from 5 vehicles to 4 vehicles. So he said, don't worry about the change. Don't worry about changing the cost. I was going to tip you anyways. Let's just leave it at what it was, and that'll be your tip. Okay, awesome, great. Met him today. Super thankful. Got another truck coming to meet him here shortly. Trying to check what kind of produce that was. Coming out of these fields, maybe tomatoes. Anyways, if I send him an invoice right now for the remaining balance, I guarantee you in 15 minutes he'll be paid for it. And I mean, it's a big job. You know, you got to figure 5 cars going south. That would have been a big job. So we got 4, and all the way from Maryland down to Florida, and super just grateful, and said that this was the only thing that was really, you know, worrying him about his move, because like these are his babies, and he's got a lot of money in these cars, and like that's his fun. And so I got 2 picked up. He was so happy, helped me load them, wanted to help me get them in the trailer, especially the GTR that I have, because it's really low, and just as nice as could be. Makes it so worth it. And I was like, you know, I have customers that get all upset or don't understand that I'm just one person. And sometimes, you know, a $300 or $400 car move is sometimes not the type of things I'm trying to do unless I have free time. I got people that get mad at me. I was like, I can help you. I'll find somebody to do it, but it might not be me there personally. And then a lot of people don't understand, like on these, you know, on these guys that I'm brokering cars out to, they're running all over. They're running all over the country. So being able to nail down a time for someone to like meet you, or, you know, what time is he going to be there so I can make sure I'm there at the same time. It's like, probably not going to know till the day of, or like, it may be he'll be there in the morning, he'll be there in the afternoon type deal. There's so much that can happen on the road. And to slow you down, like the guy that's picking up the other 2 cars, he was coming from Connecticut. He's got traffic and he's got bad storms. It's been 100 degrees. All these pop-up storms have been terrible. But we're rolling. We're actually going to go through the Chesapeake Bay Tunnel here shortly. That state trooper that was just in front of me just flipped a Huey because there was a dump truck that had branches and everything sticking out of it, and it was didn't have it tarped very well, and all the dirt and stuff was flying out of it. They just busted a U-turn and had their lights on, so pretty sure that's where they're going.
You take the card on and roll it, right?
Well, I made it to Manning, South Carolina. I was watching little YouTube, eating lunch here. All has been very well. So when I was getting off this exit here, this is a TA in Manning. I'm getting ready to fuel up here for $3.38 a gallon. I don't really need fuel, but it's the cheapest. And then I'm gonna get into Georgia. It's a little more expensive. But I was getting off this exit here. I'm in the right lane. Obviously, I got my turn signal on, like I'm getting off the exit. Guy in the fast lane in like a Hyundai SUV. He's probably, let's just say he's like 2 car lengths ahead of me. I turn to make sure no one's trying to sneak around me on the exit. I look back and I'm flying by this guy. He locked up his brakes on the interstate in the fast lane to duck in behind me to get off this exit. Now I look and I see a Mazda 3, I mean 70 miles an hour through the grass. I see the guy bouncing up and down. I'm trying to look to see, make sure he's gonna be okay. I'm on the brakes, getting over to the shoulder of the exit to make sure this guy's gonna be all right. Man, he's wheeling it. He's back this way, he's back this way. He comes right up out of the ditch and he's back on the interstate. I thought for sure when I looked and saw that guy almost dead stopped in the interstate that I was gonna look and see either him be plowed and killed by a semi, or a car rear-ending him and somebody being severely injured. So I was like, God dang. So I had to take a second, and when I pulled off here, I was like, whew. I know what I was just about to see there, but it wasn't gonna be good. So we've got our destination picked out for tonight. It's a Walmart I've stayed at a handful of times. They do have like, I want to say probably like 15 or 20 truck parking spots. Now they're gonna be like a lot of local trucks there usually, but sometimes I can find a spot. I know I don't have my seatbelt on because I'm actually in the parking lot still. I didn't get fuel yet. I warmed up my lunch and went in and got a few things from inside. But I'm gonna pull back through and get through the pumps and get fuel and just top off, and that should get me through the rest of the day. I'm gonna hop out here and show you guys because I've been packing pretty much all my food on the road, and let me show you what I've been packing. So I keep my Yeti in the back here. All right, I've got, this is rice, fajita style skirt steak. Skirt steak is real tender and will heat up pretty well. And still be tender when you try to eat it after you cook it and reheat it. I got cheese and like a Baja taco sauce on there, and I made like 4 or 5 of these at the house before I left. Got a couple more of them down in here. I've also got some sparkling waters that I drink. I really like carbonation, and the sparkling waters are perfect, so I'm not drinking soda. I've pretty much always been that way. Over here we've got, Alani makes these protein shakes. This was my breakfast. Vanilla, 20 grams of protein. Fills you up in the morning, not eating junk. And then from Walmart, I got a couple of these like hydration sports drinks. Got some pretty good sodium in it, and potassium, magnesium. They don't taste the best, but honestly, when I'm out here working in the heat, to have something that hydrates you, pretty key. I got a couple of those, and then I got some more waters and stuff down in there in my purple Yeti. Stopping to do a load check. Glad that's behind us. Whew. I couldn't really find a good exit to get off of, and it was coming down pretty good. But pulled off here. I had to take that check valve out, and I kind of forgot about it, and I was getting low on fuel, so I hopped out to flip that and get a drink here. So I've got 30 gallons in the auxiliary tank still, but I've only got like 270 miles or so left for today. Got a place picked out where I'm gonna park because of I think this Walmart I've stayed at before is roughly like 10 minutes from this guy's house, and they've got truck parking that they allow, and they've got a couple. I'll be there probably about 7:30, 8 o'clock or so, so it's kind of early. There's a couple of restaurants right there I might try and hit. Pretty sure there's like a sports bar type of thing, maybe a Buffalo Wild Wings. Been there, but excuse me, I've been there before, but I don't remember what they were. Anyways, so we are out of that. I was gonna talk to you guys about something, but I don't know if I'm gonna make a whole video on my main channel, on the Hotshot Haulers ones, about just the crap industry that this has turned into. And you guys know I'm not a negative person. And You know, I've always talked about this is what I'll always do. I'll always be a business owner, and this is what I'll do. But I may have to change some things around for even my sanity. It's been just I'm gonna make a whole video on the situation that happened. It didn't even directly happen to me. It happened to Adam, and it happens to me all the time, and it happened to him, and it's like there's nothing that's done about it. So like dealing with brokers, dealing with central dispatch, it's just become a mess, and I don't know, and I've got to make money, and I've got to be able to be sane and happy at the same time. So might be a couple changes coming to what I do. May turn into some more local things, which my wife would appreciate, because then I'll be home. I can be home, you know, every night if I wanted to be. If I wanted to work at night, if I had some work to do at night, I could do that. But so that's for a later date. You know how it gets. You get in those minds where you're like, I'm quitting, I'm doing something else. But and you start looking at other things, and then calm down and things change. But it's still in transport. It would be, you know, more local work, like rollback equipment type moving. And the good news is about that is I've got plenty of work that I could be given for like rollback type stuff, because one of my other good friends, a guy who rescued this old girl off the side of the road, that's what he does. And he's like, yeah, you know, buy a rollback, whatever, I got plenty of work. You know, he's overwhelmed, and he's only one person, so if we kind of combine forces, that'd be cool. And I'm gonna own a transport business. That's what I'm gonna do. If it turns into some towing, it might be just what happens. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm gonna let this thing fill up a little more. I guess I could leave it on. I don't think shouldn't overflow, because I'll be moving. I'll be burning fuel out of it at a pretty good rate, getting about 8-9 miles a gallon. But getting ready to cross into Florida before too long. See where we're at now. We are in Darien, Georgia, which is north of Brunswick, and then we get to Woodbine, Kingsland, and then you get into Florida. So let's get moving. Well, it was a good morning. Looks like we've got a bearing starting to fail in this. This is so hot I can touch it. I can't touch the lug nuts. I got out and I was doing a load check, and I noticed the heat. So I went ahead and delivered the cars right down the road here. I was like a couple miles away. Decided once I got, guy was waiting on me, so once I got those delivered, I was gonna pull over here on a side street and get that wheel pulled off. I'm not gonna be heavy going home, so I'm not gonna need that wheel on the ground. So with it being triple axle and torsion axles, I'm just going to gonna pull it off. All I have is a UTV and a little 200-pound boat to pick up to go home, so I'll maybe have 1,200 pounds in the trailer. So that's the plan. See if we can't get this thing pulled off without getting ourselves burnt.